Hello, I'm Michael Waring, and we are going to be working on the offering for Bounty of the County this year, and we're really excited to be here. So we are going to be working on a dish of smoked baby fennel with some creamed baby leeks. We have lots of different herbs and blossoms and things to kind of go with it, and then a soup made out of a beautiful melon, all supplied by Humble Roots here in Solano County. So excited to have you and looking forward to making the dish. Okay, so all the components of the dish, we can kind of go over everything. So of course we have Humble Roots' beautiful baby fennel. We've confit it at 85 degrees centigrade, which is around 180 some odd degrees Fahrenheit. In some olive oil, of course some fennel pollen, salt, and we might have put a little vinegar in there. So cooked that for about an hour, chilled it down, and sliced it, and that's kind of what we have here. You know, one of the main components of the dish. We also have some creamed baby leeks. I'm using the word creamed loosely here. There's no actual cream in it, but again, we confit them really gently in some black truffle butter. And a bit of salt. And then as far as all of the garnish and sort of the accoutrement go, we have some little baby sorrel greens, red vein sorrel, some shiso from Humble Roots. There's a few nasturtiums and borage and garlic flowers. This is marigold, some little baby peas. And then one of the things that's I'm excited about are these little cilantro buds. So different from the cilantro blossoms, these would drop some seeds eventually and then become a new plant. So they're very powerful and they're really good. So we're going to use that as well. And then the last part that we have is a beautiful soup. It's a melon soup. It's a new melon to us. It's a beautiful little melon that Humble Roots grows. They're really small. They're only about that big. And the smell that came off it, it's a new product for me. When I cut into it, was just amazing. It almost, yeah, it was sweet, but it almost had like baking spices and things to it, so it was kind of cool. Anyway, so we'll go ahead and get started. Of course, the first thing we need to do is the warm stuff. So we'll begin by smoking off the fennel and warming up or glazing our baby leeks there. So for our leeks, we have a little glazing liquid. And we can just add those to here. They're already seasoned, already cooked. It's really just about rewarming them in that glazing liquid. For our fennel, we can go ahead and get this on smoking here. We have our smoker set up. What's small little egg, but I use it for lots of things. Add it cut side down. And let that begin to warm up and grill while we kind of tend to the rest of our items. Another thing that is interesting is the addition of a sweet component to this. Now, vegetables, of course, there's lots of sugar and things in there, but to add refined sugar to a first course is kind of something that that I've done over the years. Typically in menus, it's almost like you're subject to the format of the menu, right? So you start with typically salty, fried, crispy things to kind of get your appetite going, and as you move through the menu, if you choose to order all the way through, you move through the different sections, right? So then all of the savory things, and you begin to transition to sweet, and then there's dessert. I never kind of like that because oftentimes you're full by the time you get to the end, so you kind of miss out on a big section of what that restaurant had to offer. So I sort of got rid of that, and I just implement everything throughout the menu. And what that allowed us to do was sort of be free with the way that we go through the different tastes and experiences that you're going to have. So sometimes we like to just put a sweet component or refined sugar on the first course. This is a cool product. It's a Swiss meringue. We cook lots of eggs here, and we use the yolks for lots of things, but that means we have lots of cooked whites. So we needed to do something with all those cooked whites. So cooked whites make a really beautiful meringue. It falls into the Swiss meringue category. And it's just 200 grams of cooked white in a blender with 300 grams of sugar until that sugar dissolves, charged in a whipped cream canister 3 times with little nitrous oxide cans, and that's all it is. And it's also really great because it can toast and add a little component. I hear my smoker going now, so we can add, I don't know if the camera can notice, but there's lots of things drying. We have the tops, lots of different things, and we use all of those things to smoke. So rather than always adding wood, we'll use the byproduct of a lot of the produce that we get in another way. In this sense, it would be the olfactory sense of smell. So we can go ahead and start smoking them now. Some beautiful grill marks here. Remove our grill. These happen to be some dried out broccoli stems, or a type of Italian broccoli called spigariello. And then we can just smoke those. And we kind of leave the products as whole as possible, because that way we can slice them right before they go onto the dish. So they've already cooked, of course. They've been confit for a while, grilled for a few minutes since we've been talking, and then smoked over the dried out broccoli stems for a few seconds here. Then we can go ahead and remove them, slice them, add them to the plate, and start building. You can already kind of smell that. I know you can't, but I can. So. All right, so we have our warmed up baby leeks there, and we can go ahead and start assembling. The other thing we kind of like to do is, of course we always mark, or Allie always marks our guests with the appropriate silverware and things they'll need for that course, but it's nice to kind of do as much for the guests as you possibly can. If they would have to kind of struggle with a knife or a fork or a spoon, or it wasn't the right piece of utensil, we try to alleviate a lot of that, which is why we do a lot of the slicing and things for you. All right, so we have that prepared and ready to go. We can go ahead by beginning to assemble the dish. We'll lay down some of our smoked baby fennel here. Now, whenever I'm plating, I don't worry so much about making it look super pretty or beautiful. I worry more about what I'm doing and making sure that that's the best it can be. And as a result of focusing on that, yeah, they tend to come out really nice, but it's not about trying to make this perfect little artistic thing. It's more about focusing on your steps and then enjoying the end result. So I kind of figure, that's actually looking pretty good. We'll probably stop here with the fennel. We can begin to add our glazed baby leeks, glazed in a bit of truffle, and a veggie jus that's made by making a pinçage, or basically some roasted vegetables and tomato paste. Of course, Alma Roots gave us a lot of beautiful tomatoes, so we made a pinçage with that. Now to this, we can begin to start our garnishing. As far as the garnishing goes, I tend to like to start with the larger items first and then build the smaller ones around. So we have some beautiful shiso here. This is a shiso leaf. And we'll add some nasturtiums. These are some little baby nasturtium leaves as well. And all of the different herbs and blossoms, they look really nice, but they also add different things. Nasturtium is peppery. Shiso has a really herbaceous floral note to it. So you want to kind of keep those things in mind. These are some garlic blossoms. And we really just kind of use whatever, whatever's growing and whatever is dictated to us. That's why a lot of people ask, how do you make the menu? Well, I don't really make it. I just go through all the steps, and whatever is available is what goes on the plate. So it's pretty simple that way. These are some, we smoked over the Italian broccoli. These are the flowers that come off of that plant. So before I hung and dried out all of the stems, I just kind of snipped those off, saved them, and we'll use them as garnish for the plate. We have some little red vein sorrel greens that are grown by a wonderful partner of ours, again, here in Solano County. His name's John. Got a place called Delta Microgreens. Here, these are some really beautiful baby peas that he also grows, and then the last addition of our wild stuff is some little marigolds. Just kind of add those around. All right, so that's it. Now what we do at the very end is add our soup. This is the melon soup. It's kind of nice when we do when you glaze the leeks, you want to kind of save a little bit of that liquid. So it's not like I'm dumping liquid on there, but because I put the leeks on top, that liquid kind of pooled, and because of the vessel that we're using, we're going to get a little interesting textural component between the two different liquids, which is kind of interesting. It's going to sort of separate a bit. And this is a chilled soup, of course, the gazpacho made from melon and extra virgin olive oil. And there we have it. So the humble roots melon gazpacho, smoked fennel glazed leeks, lots of herbs and blossoms, and that's it. So oh, and I almost forgot one thing. Whoops. The part that I was so excited about in the beginning, these are those little cilantro buds as well. This is going to add it's going to help complement the nasturtiums, add a nice little peppery cilantro kind of flavor to it. Okay, and the very last component before we send it out to the dining room is adding the Swiss meringue. So I'll show you how that works here. Get the product to the bottom of the can a little bit. I typically like to put it off to the side so the guests can sort of grab as much or as little as they like. And so before, it's a toastable product, so just a little light toasting around the side there. Okay, enjoy. Well, that's it. Thank you, everybody. Feel free to give us a call whenever you like. Come check out our offering for Bounty of the County for this season's Bounty of the County. Thank you so much. Look forward to having you.